Hello and welcome, it's me, LinkingX2, and welcome back at Worlds. Continuing today is the last day of the playing groups, where we will review the final games, determining who will make it to groups and who will break down in the last place. This is still a new format, so let me know down below how you like it, and don't forget to support little old me with a like while you're at it. But without further ado, let's get into the first match. Starting with LNG versus Infinity, we see in the draft here LNG leaves open many power picks here and there. As a result, INF is able to get the top picks everywhere, with only the NF being an exclusion there. LNG on their side, they are looking for counter picks towards the meta, with Lissandra and the Wukong top, even fainting in a Graves top lane pick as well, and generally their comp comes online a bit later. And well, it seems the counter picks are working, but I guess being a bit more honest here, we could say that INF is getting gapped here as a team, and especially on an individual level. A very depressing game for the Latin American region, where LNG just keeps on solo killing, outlaning their opponents everywhere, till they have a 6k gold lead before even the 14th minute mark. Continuing that dominance, they get a 10k gold lead before the 20th minute mark as well. And yeah, while the win was expected, the way LNG smashed INF shows the gap between the LPL and a minor region in a quite harsh way. LNG locks in first place undefeated, and INF stays winless in the last place. Quite sad for them. I mean, there even was a dancing Rift Herald at the end. MVP again goes to Aria, 4th time's the charm I guess, but damn, this guy is good. Yes, Wukong can win versus Jace, especially after level 6, but top gap again was real in this one. Coming to the other game of Group A, Peace versus Red. Both teams tied in standings, and this one is mostly for pride, as they will face each other tomorrow regardless in the first best of 5 in Group A. Peace getting quite a few known meta picks, while Red is looking for more elusive picks that only some did play during the bootcamp, like the Ryze, Kalista and the Graves. The game does start quite reserved, but after a forced invade, Peace is able to get going. Red, having farm leads though, keeps the game about even in the early game. With more picks, plates and skirmishes going in Peace's favor, they continue to look strong in the mid game and in the early team fights. Ballooning the gold lead to about 5k, Peace has a close grip, and as Red sneakily tries to rush Baron, it all crumbles to pieces for the Brazilian representatives, with them getting aced and losing the game. Peace did look good versus INF, and while they lost versus both major regions, going 2-0 versus the other small ones, it truly seems Legacy's success last year wasn't a fluke at all, as it seems that the OCE region is a cut above the others. MVP again goes to Tully, this time with Tryndamere. Great team fighting, great roams, and yeah, he showed why Tryndamere was considered OP by many coming into Worlds. Moving to Detonation, focusme and beyond. In this group, battle for first and especially second place is still quite fierce. DFM could still get first, for example here, and in draft we see interesting faces again from the Japanese team. Urgot again for Evi, and then Lilia and Akali. BYG also, as we expected for them, more familiar champions that we saw all year long. Deja vu though, DFM, Bowman TP bot lane in the 3rd minute, getting some kills on core member Utapon, who with MF versus Ezreal already had an advantage versus super ADC Doggo. Evi's Urgot as well also collects more kills in the top side, and DFM with another lead in the early game here, poised to continue where they left off yesterday. Establishing a 6k gold lead in 15 minutes, DFM really has found their style, and beyond still struggling to make use of their talented roster. And with such a gold diff, even Doggo is not really able to make the difference needed. Overall, it looks quite rough for the PCS representatives. Remember, with this loss, there's still a chance for them to end up in 5th place. MVP here goes again to Evi's Urgot. He's a beast in lane, with his TP also again impacting hugely the map. Also in the team fights, well, maybe Urgot is just OP. And hey, against many of Beyond's champions, he actually fits in quite nicely. So yeah, well done from him. Coming to the potentially last game for today, C9 versus UL. We see Rel and GP quite interesting here as well, as Perkz LeBlanc, C9 using ever so different tools to secure their final win. UL on the other side with quite a bit of scaling here with Senna and Sion bot, who are also quite capable of skirmishing, and as such they strangely fit in nicely into their top side, which makes for a good comp on paper for UL here, and with that they actually start out the game quite nicely, getting boss rolling and winning early fights, getting turrets, picks, and also a bunch of early dragons, getting really close to Soul. C9 managing to steal the 4th Drake though, losing the fight in the end, continuing even with more disrespectful positioning. UL engages them and just puts them into the dumpster, securing their first win at Worlds. And damn though, UL was just smashing C9 in this one, winning just all the fights with great team play, and well, Sin and LeBlanc from behind, GP without items. C9's comp really falls off a cliff if they get behind, while UL's obviously gets stronger, and that's just how the meta goes. It's what we predicted with all these very aggressive picks. There are very little comeback tools for them to get back into the games. MVP in the end goes to Ananachik with his Lee Sin, while Boss got the kills, and Santa's Sion was certainly a huge menace. It was a Lee Sin actually that helped them set this up from the early game, and also in team fights he was finding Sven and secured the fights for UL with a chance here for 4th place in the end. With these results we get actually 2 tiebreakers here in Group B, C9 versus DFM and UL versus BYG. 1 game for first, 1 game for their tournament lives. And we're starting with UL versus BYG. UL here again with Lee, Senna, and it seems Wukong will be farming in bot, or Doggo again. Strange matchups here. But he gets Draven, a pick that has been dominating solo queue. I was kinda expecting to see more of it, as he's also doing fairly well into the Misfortune. And my bro, my tank, my homie, Sir Tam Kench is also showing up in the top lane. And goddamn, he's good, eating up all the enemies just like snacks. Ooh, Doggo also farming well, getting plates for dinner. BYG starts the early game more promising than ever. Nomans and Ananachik don't want to go home though, so they find some nice punishes after, like BYG overextends after securing objectives. It's not enough though, while the kill score is about even. Farm, turret plates, drakes, all goes in the PCS's favor, but after winning a fight, BYG overstays their welcome and gives up massive shutdowns, and they lose Baron, giving UL a slight avenue back into the game. This is not enough though. Doggo and Liang reign supreme here with their picks, taking care of this one with some great plays, and it makes us wonder, where was this team all tournament long? We hope they show up tomorrow versus Galatasaray for banger of a series, as they secure their final win. MVP goes to Liang with Tam. I know that's probably just my bias speaking, but I had no hopes of actually seeing Tam Kench, and yeah, makes it work in a great way. Sorry to Doggo, you're a beast, but Tam, I mean Liang takes this one. Coming to the final one, C9 versus Detonation focusme. C9 take away the Urgot from Evi, which is a smart move, because Evi becomes your god with this pick. DFM with also an interesting approach to the draft with Leona first pick over the MF. Olaf and Zoe also more strange picks here from C9 side, but we can argue for those, as one fits in nicely with the team comp and the other one at least has a good matchup. DFM this time with a less crazy start early on, but still doing fairly well, being a step behind though in the mid game, losing out on Drakes and falling behind 3k gold. Don't count out Evi and Aria though, they find picks and equalize the game around the 20th minute mark for a straight comeback. And damn boys, Detonation focusme show up in the later half of the game, losing soul, but they win the fights. Their skirmishes are just super clean, and Evi with great engages and setups, Utapon and Aria with massive follow-up damage, and especially Aria with great positioning, holding his shockwave for the most crucial moments. And yeah, in the end MVP also goes to Aria here for this one, because DFM is managing to win this one with absolutely great team fighting, and they completely took over C9 in a storm after failing to beat them at the first day. On the third day they managed their revenge. Coming to the MVP standings of the third day, Ale still in first position with 4 MVPs now. Then we have 3 people tied for second with Dev, Tali and Evi with each having 2. And then again the field with many people having 1 MVP. So no massive changes there. Looking at the standings though, undefeated still in Group A is LNG, and they go straight into Group D of the main event. Great showing, not faltering anywhere, as we expected to be honest. Hangwa Life in second will play on Saturday against someone from B. Peace in third and Red in fourth will face each other tomorrow in a best of 5, into which Peace goes with the momentum of today's win. Lastly, INF sadly without any wins this time, and this is even worse than their MSI performance, where they at least won one game. The LLA has a lot of thinking to do for their off season and till the next international event. In Group B, we had a lot of changes today. In first, after the tiebreaker win, is Detonation focusme, probably but not certainly yet. Going into Group B, C9 similarly to Hangwa Life, waiting for their opponent to be determined, and Galatasaray in third, followed by Beyond, who barely made it in the end. Both will face each other in the best of to see who will play Chovy for a final group spot. In last, we have UOL, who set up DFM with their upset win over C9, but in the end it wasn't enough for them, losing versus Beyond. Last place after second place last year, they too have a lot to think about. That's it. Thanks for watching, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and while you're at it, what do you guys think about C9? Can they bounce back after today's 0-2? Also, share any form of critique or things that I should cover in the future. I will be looking forward to that. Tune in tomorrow where I will cover the exciting series between Brazil's Red, OC's Peace, and Turkey's Galatasaray versus the PCS's Beyond. See you then, have a good one, bye.